Hello, everybody. Welcome. I know I'm late today, but at least I want to be able to come live here for you guys. Let's get this short pan up together with you guys. So it is going to be an easy tutorial for that matter. It's very going to be an easiest one. So if this is something you've been wanting to create, this is the right tutorial for you. I'm happy to have you here. So let's wait for more people to join so we can go ahead and start. Okay. How are you? How is everybody? Are you good? Are you people fine? I'm ready to have you here. I'm happy to have you here. So, I'm live now. It's late, yeah. I just wanted to do it today because if I don't, somebody requested for this tutorial. It's gonna be the easiest one. Easiest tutorial ever. Easiest one ever. Easiest tutorial ever. So I'm waiting for more people to join so we can go ahead and start. This is a fabric I'm going to be using. It's quite a very easy one. So I want to make it very, very easy and understandable for each and everyone who is willing to. Okay. At about 12 people in the building. You're watching from YouTube. I'm happy to have you here. It's going to, like I said, very, very easy, understandable. So when you're cutting up a pan, we're going to start straight away. Okay, let me pull the fabric so you'll be able to see. So I've just folded my fabric. Use something of your choice, a fabric that you love to, something that at least you will love it to wear out, okay? So I'm just going to go ahead and fold my fabric into two. As you can see, I folded my fabric into two. Making sure everywhere is straight and all the lines are matching each other. Now, after folding up my fabric into two, the next thing we want to start by is by drawing a straight line, which is going to be the start point. I'll go ahead and draw a straight line right there. I've used this chalk today so you people should be able to see how it looks like. Now, after drawing that straight line, but before we go ahead to draw that straight line, you want to know that whatever you should have here should be 1/4 of your hip then plus some 3 extra inches to that. Okay, so after drawing a straight line, which is going to be the waist line, next thing I want to do is to go ahead now. I will mark from the waist to the hip depth, which mine is 8 inch. Waist to hip depth, waist to crotch depth. To get a crotch depth is you're going to divide your round hip measurement by 4. Okay, round hip divided by 4, then whatever answer you get, you're going to divide it again by 4. Automatically we are dividing 1/4 of our measurement. Remember, this fabric is being folded into two. This is for the front, and when we're cutting the back, we're still going to go ahead and fold it again into two. This into two. Okay, so like I said, round hip divided by 4. All right, so My round hip is 38. Divide by 4 is going to give me 9.5. I'll go ahead now and add 1 inch to it, making it 10.5. Now I'm going to move now to the length of this short. It is a short pant. I'm doing it because somebody requested for this tutorial, okay? The other one I did, they said they didn't understand. So I have to come back to it and do it details to detail on a live stream. When I have time, I'll go ahead and edit it and post it. All right. Remember, to get a crotch depth is by dividing round hip by 4, then you add 1 inch to it. If you're working on a pant that you don't want it to be fitted like this short flare pants, you can go ahead and add 2 inch to the crotch depth because it is not fitted. It needs to be free around there. So after marking that up, I'm going to move now to the length. And take note that my length, normally, my length, the waistband is not included. So I want to make it, I also love to make my pant a little bit of high waist. Okay, you can't hear me. Oh, sorry. I don't know. Oh, thank you. I didn't notice. So okay, for those of you just coming back, just coming now, let me repeat everything. So first thing what I did was to fold my fabric into 2. Then I draw a straight line, which is going to be the waistline. Okay, after drawing that straight line, the next thing I did was to go ahead, take from the waist to the hip depth. Mine is 10 inch. Then now I will measure from the waist to my crotch depth, which is round hip divided by 4. Then you're going to go ahead and add 1 inch to it. Okay, round hip, my round hip is 38 divided by 4 is going to give me 9.5. Then I add 1 inch to it. We have 10.5. I mark that up. Now I'm going to move now to the length of my short. Like I said, I want to make mine a little bit high waist. Okay, normally if I wasn't making it high waist, I should have gone ahead and minus 2 inch from my from here. Okay, I should have gone ahead instead of marking my hip depth line, here, I should have marked it here. Okay, minus 2 inch for my waistband. But like I said, I want to make my a little bit high waist. I always love to make my shorts high waist. Okay, so my waistband, let's just say it's going to be 1.5 inch. So now I'm going to go ahead, I'll be marking my length of the short. I'll go with 17 inch plus 1 inch, making it 18 inch for the hemming. After that, I'm going to go ahead and draw straight lines. Those points, I'll connect them up with the straight line like this. Then I'm going to do the same thing here, straight line. Once I'm done drawing my straight line, the next thing I want to do is to go ahead now, divide all my measurement into 2, the round waist and the round hip. Okay, I will go ahead now, take round hip, divide it by 4. So my round hip is 38, divided by 4 is going to give me 9.5. I'm going to mark it up here at the waistline. Waistline here. Then I'll go ahead and also mark it up here at the hip depth line. I will mark it up here at the crotch depth line. Here at the crotch depth line. I will connect that point up with a straight line. All right. Today I got this chalk so that it's going to be visible enough. Now, to get our crotch extension here, what we normally do is to take 1/4 of the hip divided by 4, or you can take round hip divided by 20. If you take 1/4 of the hip divided by 4, mark it up, or you take 1/4, you take round hip divided by 20, you are still going to get the same answer. Okay, I hope this part is clear. Round hip divided by 4 or round hip round hip divided by 4. Okay, it is going to give you this 1/4. This is 9.5. When you divide your round hip by 4, whatever you have is this part right there. Then after that, you're going to take this part, this 1/4, divide it by 4. You're going to get whatever you get, you're going to extend it up here. Or you take your round hip, divide it by 20. Whatever you have, you just go ahead and mark it up here. It's still going to give you the same answer. For example, if I divide my 1/4 of the hip by 4 and mark it, you're still going to get the same answer. Like if you divide your round hip by 20, whatever you choose, that one is good for you, okay? But it's still going to get you the same answer. So I'm taking this 1/4 of the hip, I'm going to divide it into 4. So and go ahead now, divide 9.5 by 4 like this, okay? Then I'll go ahead again and divide it again like this into 2. Automatically, I have divided it into 4. I first of all divided it into 2, then I went ahead again and divided it again into 2. Then I'm going to go ahead now and extend up this point right there. You can see, right? After doing so, what I'm going to do is I'm going to come here like this. I'll go up by 2.5 inches, which is right on top of this hip depth line. I'll go ahead now, connect these points up like this. But when you're connecting it up, you don't want it to be too deep. You don't want it to be too deep, or neither it should be looking funny right there. Take your time and go ahead and connect it smoothly. Nothing should be too deep, because when it's deep, by the time you join it, it's going to look funny right there. So you want to get that normal curve, okay? Normally, sometimes I always use this. I place it up like this and I curve it out, okay? If you don't have it, go ahead and use your free hand. Now, once I'm done doing so, the next thing I want you to do is to go ahead. I'm going to come here, this part up here. I'm going to go in by half inch. You can go in by 1 inch up to 1 inch. I'm going to go in by half inch. I will go down by half inch. You can go down up to 1 inch. So I went in by half inch, go down by half inch. Then I'm going to connect these points up like this. From that half inch that I went down, I'll connect it all the way to this point. Like that, all the way to here. You see, right? Now I'm going to bring this part up here, connect it all the way to this side right there. Now, once I'm done doing so, the next thing I want to do is to put my measurement right now, okay? I'm going to come here, I'll put 1/4 of the waist, okay? But remember that this fabric is not stretchy. We need it to be fitted at the body. So we're going to be adding 1 inch for the dart allowance. So I'm going to go ahead and put 1/4 of my waist. My round waist is 28, divided by 4 is going to give me 7. Then plus my 1 inch for my dart, which is right there. Then I'll be adding my half inch. Now, let me do 1 inch for sewing allowance. 1 inch, making it here. Okay, then I'm just going to go ahead and connect this part up all the way to the hip depth line, like this. You can add 3/4 inch if you wish. So I add 1 inch for my sewing allowance. Now, after doing so, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go here like this. I will measure the nipple to nipple, or the bust band separation. So I'm going to, my nipple to nipple is 7 inch. Divided by 2 is going to give me 3.5. I'll go ahead and mark that point up, and I'm going to do a straight line all the way straight downward. After doing so, what I'm going to do is to go ahead now. I'm going to come down by 5 inch. Now I'm going to come out by half inch both sides. And I'm going to do the same thing here. I'll go ahead now, connect it all the way to that 5 inch that I went down. I'll do the same thing here. Once we're done doing so, we are going to finish this part here. Now, for my short, normally we need to get the lap, okay, the lap, where the lap line is. Normally, from the hip, from the crotch depth line, you normally go down by 3 inch or even up to 4 inch. I'll go down by 3 inch. This is where the lap line is going to be. You will only use this lap line if you want it to be a fitting, if you want it to be fitted at your body. If you don't want it to be fitted, go ahead. There's no need for you to even use this lap line. So after connecting that lap line, what I'm going to do is just to bring this line up straight like this, straight down. Now, the main reason why we are using up the lap line is because you want it to be fitted. But me, I will not be making up a fitting pan. For example, if you wanted just to be fitted, what you're simply going to do is to take your lap line. For example, if my lap line is 23 divided by 2 is going to give me 11 and a half. 11 and a half. Now you're going to divide it again into 2. Okay. For example, if I divide 11 and a half into 2, I'll be left with 9.075, which is right there, meaning that you have to come to this side and place it up here and also go ahead and place that up here. But like I said, mine is not going to be a fitting pan. Or what you can do is to come here like this and you go in here by half inch, by 1 inch. I've gone in by half inch. This is when you want it to be a fitting pan. But like I said, mine is not going to be a fitting pan. I always like to have my pan free. All right. So, like I said, I will not be making a fitting pan. But if you're making, take round lap, divide it by 2. Then you go ahead, whatever you have. For example, if mine is 23 divided by 2 is going to give me 11 and a half. 11 and a half again divided by 2. Whatever answer you get, you're going to place, for example, 11 and a half divided by 2 is going to give me 5.075. I'll place 5.075 here and 5.075 there. That's if you want it to be a fitting pan. Or you can come here like this and go in by 1 inch or even 1.5 inch. But like I said, mine is not going to be a fitting pan. So what I'm going to do is I'll simply measure up whatever I have from this point to this point, which is a 12 inch. I'm going to come here like this. From that 12 inch, I'll simply go ahead now and minus, no, I'm going to mark up the 12 inch. Like I said, I don't want it to be a fitting one. It should be free. I'm going to go ahead now and add 1 inch to it, and I'm still going to do the same thing here. This 1 inch here is going to be because I want it to be free. Then now I'm going to go ahead and connect this up like this. You can even add more if you wish to. Like that. Then I'm going to go ahead and cut this up. And when I'm done cutting this, we're going to use this front piece to cut up the back. I hope it is very understandable. Remember, you're supposed to cut the back 2 pieces, the front 2 pieces when you're making up the pan. Okay, I'm gonna separate this up all the way to this point. Come here, I'll cut it, but I will add half inch to it because I have not added half inch here for the sewn around. So I'm just gonna go ahead and add up half inch, half inch, half inch, half inch, half inch, half inch. Then I'm gonna, since we're gonna be needing half inch to join this up, I will not be cutting it down here, but instead I'll be cutting it at the first line. Okay, we'll be needing allowance to join that up. So I'm just gonna go ahead and notch up my dots right there, and I also do the same thing here. Now let me go ahead now, hold up this piece so that it should not move when I'm working on. I'm gonna pull this part up here. Now you're going to go ahead and fold your fabric again into 2, but this time around you make sure that whatever you have, it should be 1/4 of the hip. 1/4 of the hip. Remember, we're using the front to cut off the back. So I'm going to place it up like this. You can see I have an allowance here. I want to make sure that I have allowance here, and I also have an allowance at the sides. I should have at least 2 inch here. Okay. And I also make sure that I have allowance here at the top. Now, this is what we have. First of all, I'm going to go ahead and extend this point up with a straight line. You see what I've just done right there, right? Now, I'm going to come here like this. I'm going to go out by 1 inch. Then I'll just go ahead and connect that point up all the way to this point with my ruler. All the way to this point. This chop is finished. See, chalk, blue, not using blue, and then I use white. Yeah. So, as you can see, I've just connected it up here. Or what you can do is to connect this point up, then you come here and add 1.5 inch. Okay, do 1.5 inch, but I've just connected it up there like this. The length is supposed to be the same. Now, after doing so, what I'm going to do is to come here. What I'm going to do is I'm going to come in by 1 inch. I'm going to come in from this part 1 inch. You see, I've just come in by 1 inch. This is the line of the 1 inch. Are you seeing it? Yeah. This chalk is it's not really pronouncing since the fabric has some light in there. This chalk I'm going to use now. Okay, I use this tiny and this small. The colorful one. We're going to get that. So I've come in here by 1 inch, which is right there. This one is good. I've come in by 1 inch. So now, after coming in by 1 inch, what I'm going to do is to go ahead, simply measure up whatever I have from this point to this point. So what I have is 9.075. I want to make sure that I come here like this and also measure that 9.075, which is right there. 9.075, making sure that I have a straight line all the way to this point. Now, at this point, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go up by 1.5 inch. I'm working on a smaller size, but if you're working on a bigger size, you can go up by 2 inch. My smaller size is, I'm talking about size of hip of 38, okay? Hip of 38, waist of 28, sorry, okay? Hip of 38, waist of 28. So go up by 1.5 inch. If you're working off like a, let's just take for example, if you're working off a hip of waist of 32 and then hip of 40, you can go up by 2 inch. If you're working for more than that, go up by 2.5 inch, depending on how hippie, how fuller you are behind. So for me, I'm going to go up by 1.5 inch. See that point right there, right? I'm just going to connect this point up all the way to this 9.075, which is almost 10 inch, but not 10 inch, making sure that I maintain a straight line because this side is supposed to join up together like this. You see what I've just done there, right? Okay, now at this side, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead. I'll be adding up from here. I'm going to do, let's just do 1 inch, 1 inch, 1 inch, and 1 inch. So that you're going to, this side is going to balance up. You can do 1 inch, you can do 1.5 inch, okay? Then from here, I'm going to do it up with a straight line. Like, remember I said the length is supposed to be the same. Now, what we want to make sure to do is just to go ahead and fold this over like this. We already marked this from this point here. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and connect this all the way to this point like this. Okay, then this is where I'm going to go ahead and use my curve ruler, but make sure that it's not too curvy. You don't want to make it curvy, but instead just connect that not too curvy. Okay, you see how the line is, right? You see, this is what we have right there. That's just it. Now for the darts of the back, what we're simply going to do is to go ahead and mark up the nipple to nipple. Nipple to nipple. We're going to mark up nipple to nipple. But remember that whatever we have here is about, here we have 10 inch. So marking the nipple to nipple, this one already have ½ inch of allowance. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to come here like this and mark that ½ inch of allowance right there. From there, from that ½ inch, I'll put my nipple to nipple, which is 7. 7 divided by 2 is going to give me 3.5. Remember that for the front, we went down by 5 inch, but for the back, we're going to go down by 6 inch. You can even go down up to 6.5 inch. All right, because we've lifted up the back. I'll go ahead now, connect these points up with a straight line. All the way to that 6 inch that I went down. Now, I'm going to go ahead, mark a ½ inch both sides. ½ inch here and ½ inch here. Then I'll go ahead and connect it all the way to that 6 inch. Like that. Like so. Okay, once we're done doing so, next thing I want to do is just to go ahead and cut it off. Okay, I hope from the beginning, if you've been watching from the beginning, you should be able to cut up your own pants already. Make sure that the length is the same, because I've noticed that some of you come and complain that the length of your pant is not always the same. Make sure that you cut the same. Okay. Remember, I added ½ inch here, so I'm going to add ½ inch here, because we'll be needing that ½ inch to join the front pieces, the back piece as well. Okay, once I'm done doing so, I'm just going to go ahead and notch this part as well. Okay, the only thing now we have to do, we are done cutting up the pan. If you want to add up, okay, let me show you this part. So first of all, let's go ahead and use this up to cut off the waistband, just as it is right now. So the waistband, like I said, my waistband I'll be working with, it's gonna be 1.5. Let's make it a little bit high waist, just a little bit, not too much of everything, a little bit high waist. So my waistband is gonna be 3 inch. When I fold it into 2, I will end up with 1.5 inch. So I'm gonna go ahead and mark 3 inch from here to here like this. But I'll make sure that I'll also add ½ inch that I'll be using to join it up to the pants. Then now I'm going to go ahead and put round waist divided by 2. My round waist is 28. 28 divided by 2 is going to give me 14. But I'll also go ahead and add up 1 inch more. 1 inch more. Then I will go ahead now and mark this 3.5 inch from here. 3.5 inch from this part here. I'll connect it up with a straight line. Like that. Connect it up with a straight line. Like this. Oh, good. Then after that, I will cut. When I cut, I'm not be using this part. going to go ahead and cut. So this is my waistband. When I fold it, automatically we'll be left with 1.5 inch. So now let's move this aside. If in case you want to cut a pocket, this is what you're going to do. You want to add a pocket to it. I already have a tutorial on a pocket, but I'll just show you in case if you want to, you did not have the chance to watch the other video. So if you want to add a pocket, we are only adding pocket to the front, not the back piece. So what I'm going to do right there is to go ahead. I'll come here like this. I'm going to go in by 2.5 inch. Okay, for a pocket, you're going to go in from here 2.5 inch. You can even go in up to 3 inch. Then come down by 7 inch. Normally I come down by 7 inch. 7 inch like this. This is the 7 inch. From that 7 inch, what you're going to do, this is my 7 inch, right? I always just go ahead and connect it up like this with a straight line. Or you can come here. It's good for you to come here like this and go in by 0.5 inch before you cut it up. But I will not be needing a pocket. I'm just showing you. Go in here by 0.5 inch. Then you connect this 0.5 inch all the way to this point. Like this. Like that. Then bring it up here like that. This part here, automatically, when you add up a pocket, make sure that when you cut this part, you're supposed to keep it. So that when you're cutting it, your pocket, you make sure that you also cut exactly as the same. So when you cut this part, this is going to go inside like this. It's going to go inside like this. Okay? Then now you can go ahead, place up your hand and you cut up your pocket. To cut a pocket, the inner part of it is, let me see if I have, there's a fabric right there. I don't want to, yeah, I have some pieces so I can demonstrate on it. So when you're cutting up a pocket, what you normally do is to go ahead, you make sure that you're folding like this. Okay, you should fold like this four times, because you'll be needing 2 pieces for the right and 2 pieces for the left. You fold it up like this. Then you're going to go ahead and place up your hand like this. All right, place it up like this. I always like do this. Then I'm just going to go ahead and curve it up, connect. Yeah, I'm not even going. I'm placing my hand like this. Sorry, I'll place my hand like this. I'm just gonna go ahead and curve this up like this. You're gonna go ahead and just cut it, or you can cut a square, but this is the good way so that your pocket will be fitted. Okay, you just go ahead and do straight line here. I already have my pocket. Don't mind if it is not looking good, but just follow up and do so. Okay, then you're gonna cut it all the way around like this. Remember, you're gonna be needing 2 pieces for the right and 2 pieces for the left. You'll be needing 2 pieces. Then I advise you that you should go ahead and place it up. When you're done cutting 1 piece, you make sure that you place it on the fabric you cut it, so that they will not be kind of facing both same direction. Then you separate this part off like this. This is already your pocket. What you're simply going to do when you're stitching, you attach this up right there. Okay, you add this up right here. This part is going to go inside like this, inside. And then, or you can still go ahead, this pocket like this, you can still go ahead and cut it up like this. So automatically I'm showing you 2 ways to go about this pocket. So when you're cutting a pocket now, especially for pants, this one normally is for a dress. So when you're cutting up a pocket, right, you fold up your fabric like this. So this part here that we've cut, you simply go ahead, after cutting this part, okay, you simply go ahead now, place it on it like this, exact. For example, if I had cut this like this, I'm going to place it up like this. I will just cut here, then this part here should be the same like this part. Okay, I will not be cutting this because this fabric is short. All right, for example, you can cut a square. Let's just zoom. This is my pocket that was to make. Cut it up like that. You see, I already have 2 pieces. I have a full little tutorial on a pocket, on a pants, on how to cut and sew a pants. So go ahead and check it out. So I'm going to place this on like this, placing it up like this, making sure that I place it up like this. These parts, I said I don't want to cut this pocket, but it seems like I'm going to, you see, you just place it up like this. You go ahead and cut up that triangle right there. It's a triangle, right? This is a triangle that we have right there. Place it up like this. You want to place it in a form of a way that you make sure that you cut the pocket like this, cut it up like this. Okay, when you put it inside, you should replace back this 2 inch that you took. Automatically it's going to replace it back. Like I said, I have a full tutorial on how to cut and sew a pan on my page, no, on my YouTube channel. So go ahead and check out Anita Handmade Creation on Facebook, both Facebook and YouTube. You're going to find a tutorial on how to make pants. I have done several tutorials on the pants, on how to make elastic pan, how to make a long pan. Whichever one you wish to make, you can find them on my channel. So we are done with the cutting of this. We are done with the cutting of this pan. I hope you find this tutorial helpful. If you do, don't forget to give it a thumbs up, like, comment, and share. I hope to see you some other time. Thank you so much for watching. See you very soon. Bye bye. I'm going to sleep now. It's late, like I said, I came late. Okay.